Good morning, everyone. Hello, and welcome to our virtual career spotlight on behalf of Chinook School Division and the Regina Industry Education Council. My name is Lisa Kuntz-Samanuk, and I am the Chinook School Division Industry Education Program Facilitator. Before we begin our spotlight today, I would like to remind students to take a moment following the presentation to complete the brief student survey and be entered into a draw for $50. Your feedback is important in helping us to arrange future spotlights. We will also have some time at the end of the presentation today for you to ask any questions, or you may contact Clark directly following the presentation. Thank you. Clark graduated from Hazelett High School. He grew up on the family ranch, starting his life in the field of agriculture, and that's where he intends to stay. His journey thus far has been nothing short of both challenging and fulfilling. From saving calves' lives, only having to dodge being hit by their mom, to spending days on end operating heavy equipment. You name it, he's done it. He's passionate about learning, growing, and trying new things as he fulfills his dreams in the agriculture industry. In his spare time, you can find him at his side gig as a car salesman. Be sure to watch his Minute Mondays and find out about the newest vehicle deals. Do you have a passion for agriculture and the cattle industry? What about entrepreneurship? Learn more about the various experiences in Clark's life that have been the stepping stones to building a career that he is passionate about. His spotlight is sure to inspire and empower you to follow your dreams. Please join me in welcoming Clark here with us this morning. Take it away, Clark.
Hi guys, I'm happy to be here. So let's just get started. So I'm going to start out in high school here. Lots of interest in outdoors, hunting, and then obviously agriculture, growing up on the ranch there. And then sports were a big thing in high school too, just being able to play sports with my buddies. And then in high school, I got started working for, well, my dad, obviously that starts at a young age when you are raised on a ranch. And then I helped out one of my neighbors too. Wasn't too complicated there, just some fencing and various other jobs, just taking stuff down for her and that kind of thing. And then the summer before my grade 12 year, I got a job for my cousins where I was, it was actually my first job that I made a decent amount of money at, where I was running grain carts, combine, and then also the bagger for them. Made pretty good money doing that. So it was long days though. I usually got up at like 6:30 in the morning, and wasn't very common you'd see me back home until like 11:30 at night. So that took up a pretty good amount of my summer there, kind of in the later part there. So, and then I'd also I'd also like to talk about career planning in high school. Me and my friends, we were more focused on jobs that would make us more money rather than kind of things that we were, also things we were interested in too, but we tried to find jobs where we could make a good living at. So using my blueprint, I kind of decided on going with engineering. So then that's going to take us here. I started at the U of C for engineering. I kind of hit me pretty hard. I don't think I was quite prepared for how complicated it was going to be right off the bat. I took Calculus 30 in high school, and one of my math classes there pretty much covered my entire high school math within the first like 2 days, just to give you an idea of how fast it moves there. And so I wasn't really enjoying it just because I was more focused, or I guess more interested in the agriculture side of things. And so I decided at the end of that fall term at USC to switch over to the U of S. So I started an egg business at the U of S for the winter semester. And so that was going pretty good. I was making lots of friends there with similar interests and whatnot. And then that February is when COVID hits Canada, I guess. And so classes shifted to online and we all got sent home, and we were told we're gonna complete that term via computer. And so I was at home for a couple weeks just doing some school, helping dad with chores, and I ended up getting a job that I could still complete my schooling. So I was helping a guy out by Hazlet. We were calving out cows, feeding cows, just basically your basic ranch job there. And so the deal was there that I was going to work until September, when we were thinking school would start up again. And so what ended up happening was school stayed completely online for that fall term. And so I made the decision that I was gonna not go back to university then. So I ended up getting a job in September to work on a farm for another harvest position. And so there again, running combines, grain cart, and bagger. That place I really liked. I ended up going back there 2 more times, 3 in total. And I gained a ton of mechanical knowledge that I didn't previously have. Being on the ranch, you don't really see as much on that aspect, at least on our place anyways, because we're focused on the cattle side. And then I also learned a little bit about crop rotations and just some basic farming knowledge there. And then that was just a harvest gig there. So in October, I ended up getting a job for a feedlot over in Alberta. It was by Acme, Alberta. It's north of Strathmore, about 45 minutes. And so there I signed on as a pen rider. And originally, the plan there was to shift over towards their ranch that they had up by Hannah. It was a Charolais ranch, which really interested me because that was something that I really wanted to get into, was the purebred Charolais side. But just working there for a while, I didn't really enjoy it there, just because, well, the feedlot wasn't really my style. It was all pen work, and it just wasn't for me, I guess. And so in January, I decided I was gonna switch jobs. And so I ended up getting a job over by Strathmore. So I just moved 45 minutes south. This was a farm and ranch. It was a pretty big operation too. They did have 800 cows. And so a big role for me there was to be on the night shift crew, which was just me. I really appreciate my time there because the way they raise their cows was different from us, in that they calve earlier in the year. And so it was a lot of on foot husbandry with the animals. And so I ended up spending 2.5 months straight on 12-hour night shifts. Again, that did pay pretty well, which is always a bonus. But I think more so the knowledge I gained just doing things differently is going to really help me in my future. And I still see it, like right now, helping dad out with calving as well. I have some tricks that I can teach him that he never really learned about, doing things the way he always did it. So it's always nice. I always tell people it's not always just the job you get. It's also the knowledge that you're going to learn along the way with that job that you can really improve your own operation. So I think it's important for everyone that's in the agriculture industry to always switch it up, go somewhere else, and maybe you'll learn something different that could improve your own operation there. And then after the night shifts there, went back to just general farm and ranch duties there. And so being away from home kind of got a little homesick, I guess you could say. And so I returned back to my farming job out by Hazlet. just to complete harvest with them, helped get the combines and stuff ready for harvest. And so also during that time, we decided, me and my brother, to buy a house out in Saskatoon for the fall term of Saskatoon, just for going to school there. Again, there just improved my crop and mechanical knowledge. And so returned back to egg business. This time I was able to start with some second year courses, which are a little more focused on the agriculture side. During this time, there was still, I think it was pretty close to like a 50-50 split of online and in-person classes. And so again, the online classes just weren't for me. I don't feel like I learned a whole lot being with stuff online. And then coming towards the winter term, there was talk of it going more online, which I didn't particularly like. So starting in that winter term, I slowly started in classes there, but I just decided to make my decision to just go home and go back just to work there. It's also important to note that I did have a brief job at the SaskTel Center. I was working security for Blades and Rush games, which is pretty interesting, seeing the other side of things there, getting to go some places you're not usually allowed to go within that building. It was just a decent job, just to get a little bit of extra grocery money or whatever for university there. And so when I moved home, I left that job. Just came home to help dad with chores right off the bat. It's always something to do at the ranch, so kept myself busy there. And then I actually had a neighbor who got hurt. He had a cow run him over when he was calving, so I started helping him in the afternoons and just helping dad with chores in the morning there. And so I used a lot of my knowledge that I gained at that place over by Strathmore with the calving there. And I also assisted in some general ranch duties there, just some fencing and feeding of animals. Pretty straightforward stuff that you see pretty much everywhere you go. And then I ended up getting a job that I was really excited for. It was working for a cowboy crew, so we were day workers. We'd have anywhere between like 3 to almost 20 of us on some days. So helping out with basically anything a ranch would need there, on the horse side. So sorting pairs, branding calves was our big thing there. We probably branded almost 15,000 calves within 2 months or whatever there. And then we also helped out with just some basic pasture riding and stuff like that. Also there, obviously you're gonna have some general ranch duties again. Comes with the territory, I guess. There again, we did travel a lot, learned a little bit from different places we'd see. Like we were all the way, I think the furthest east we went was Foam Lake. If you don't know where that is, it's over by Yorkton. It's like 6 or 7 hours away, which is quite a jaunt. And then way out in Alberta too, like over by Brooks and stuff. So we really had a wide spread of areas that we'd go to. And then finally finding my path. I did return from my cowboy crew job to that same farm for the third time. Again, it was a lot of the same stuff, just kind of improving my knowledge there. And then as time went on, I kind of figured or kind of thought it was time to slow it down maybe a little bit and get some more time to be able to help out dad as well. The farming job, it really took up a lot of my time there. And so I got applied for the job here at Standard Dodge, and ended up getting it, which I've really been enjoying. Main main thing here is selling vehicles, but there's also some things that I take home with me, I guess, that really feel will help me in the future here. Um, Creating a social media influence. That's where my Facebook pages, if anyone's seen those, the Huey the Car Guy page or Minute Mondays, something I really enjoy doing, and it's starting to see the benefits of that there. And then just building customer service skills, which is none of my jobs before really had anything to do with that. So I feel like that's going to help me in my future with building my own ranch that I'll get to here. So end goal is to have my own place, want to be purebred Charolais business. So I got a few cows there and just creating my own brand. Call it the Broken O. And so started making some hats and stuff like that just to be able to sell on the side. And then I also created my own website and Facebook pages there. And these are just some of my animals that are involved there. We're going pretty fast here, so I hope you guys have lots of questions for me. And then just the end here, this is me and my dad and my brother. But if you guys have any questions, I'll go back to my other slides just to help cover some of the things there. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask now. Be happy to answer them because it's done a lot of different things, so it's hard to really focus on anything. But shoot away.
Thanks very much, Clark. It's really interesting. Like you said at the very beginning, been there, done that. You've done lots of things in the short time since you've graduated high school, and I really appreciate that you've been able to share your career journey and how you navigate the challenges of university and COVID without giving up, and trying once and then coming back and giving it another shot. But all during that time trying to really sort out what you want to do. And taking a gap year, it's obvious that you've grown and learned a lot in this time, and all those skills will help you throughout the rest of your life. It's interesting to see how you've done many different things that are all going to be transferable skills, both in your work as a salesman, but also in your entrepreneurship in agriculture. I think it's important for the students who are going to who are watching this today and who will watch it on YouTube, for them to see that a person's career is not without challenge, and as you find the path that you're wanting to settle on, and it's perfectly normal that we all kind of meander through, and that all those skills will build the person that you are. I have a few questions. I'm not sure if some students do, but one of my questions is around the car salesman. I mean, everything that you talked about so far was all in agriculture, and then you now have this car salesman gig. How'd you settle on that?
Didn't really ever think of being a car salesman, I guess. I just saw a job posting online and I was thinking of maybe moving to Swift Current just to settle down a little bit. And so I applied for it and I came in for an interview here and just kind of started clicking with me. Some of the guys here are really good to work with, and girls. Just really started enjoying it here. So it was never really planned. It just kind of happened for me, and just kind of meant to be, I guess, because really just fit in here. And so just started all working out that way.
One of the things I also see is that, and I've watched your Minute Mondays, you of course are a social media influencer, which years ago was not something that was even possible, but now it appears in everything. I know in some other places that I was looking at, it's actually, there actually are courses available for students on how to be a social media influencer in various industries. So there are some courses about doing that in the agriculture industry, for instance. It's called Agriculture Communications and Technology. how did you get into the social media influencer piece within the car industry?
Well, it actually kind of started out during my gap year. I just started making like TikToks and stuff, um, agriculture related and stuff like that, and just kind of gained a little bit of a following there. And so it was just kind of something fun that I do after work, just for my entertainment. And some of my buddies thought it was pretty entertaining too. And then I got my job here, and that's where it kind of it was within the first week, I think we were talking. Um, they just wanted more social media presence, and so I just kind of started talking about like they just had a Facebook page, and so I just started talking with them about how um, I had already been working kind of on the TikTok side, and if we wanted to market towards a younger generation, it would be maybe more beneficial for us to start Standard Dodge TikTok. And so yeah, me and Chewy started doing that. Chewy wasn't as involved with it as I was, and so I just kind of took the reins a little bit there. And then I guess Huey was kind of born with a nickname I got early on here. Have quite a few nicknames, but that's where one of the owners kind of took a liking to me and kind of brought up the idea of maybe doing like a Minute Mondays with Huey. And so we tried that out and got I think we got a couple thousand views on that first one. So just decided to start doing that every week, and still going through with it, trying to drum up some business that way. So yeah, just kind of happened, wasn't really planned at all, but that's just the way it went, I guess. So
Yeah, it's interesting. I watch them every week. When we look at, you talked a little bit before about university, how you went university and then you took a gap year and you tried it back. And I know there are many students out there that are experiencing the same challenge with COVID and the online piece and all of that. Is there any advice that you have for our young people today as they're deciding about university? Maybe they're there, or college, they're there and they aren't sure what to do next, or switch, whether they should switch to something different. I mean, it seems more common people are doing that. Do you have any advice for students or potential students who are considering that?
thing I find most important, learning like early on when we were doing our high school planning, we were all kind of focused on jobs that would maybe make us more money than something else. Um, thing I learned is just find a job that doesn't really feel like a job. Find a job that you enjoy, and the money will come after. Like if you do something you really enjoy, it doesn't really feel like work. Like going out helping dad doesn't feel like work, but it's just really, really enjoyable for me. And I think money should come second when you're looking at a job. Just do whatever you enjoy, find your passions and go with that. Just because that's just that's the way I started out, was looking for the money, and ended up not liking it. And wouldn't say it wasted my time. It just kind of gave me another perspective. You just can't be afraid to change either. I know a lot of the people that I started going to school with, a lot of them have switched what they originally came to do to what they're doing now. It's not uncommon to switch, and don't be afraid to change it up.
Good advice. Good advice. I wanted to ask you a couple questions about entrepreneurship and moving towards your own cattle sales and all of that, and branding. What are your next steps in that, and how do you start?
Um, don't really know what my next steps. Well, that I'll go back here, but I found a company to ship me hats from China. They're building them there, so that's actually this month. I have an order for 250 hats, so see if I'll be able to sell all those first, I guess. I I got like, I think like 10 hats made before. Just kind of gave them to my friends just to kind of um see my brand out there. Maybe hopefully one day see it out there a little more. So I don't really know what to say there. Just got to go with the flow and trying to do whatever you enjoy. And me personally, I like to see something like I want to see my place be my own. I don't really want to necessarily work for someone else. So that's where this side is really important to me. On one day, hopefully being able to ride for my own brand and not someone else's, which would be a really great moment for me. So
Good, thanks. And it's interesting to see. So now you got three kind of gigs. You're doing the car salesman and in that doing social media influencing and all of that. Then you're doing your purebred Charolais cattle, and then you're also doing your own brand and selling things. And so all of those kind of things together come to where you said you've settled on this path where you're comfortable, you're fun, you're having fun, you're enjoying life, you're living your best life, and seeing where life takes you.
yeah.
I don't know if there's any more questions out there. Thanks very much, Clark, for sharing your career journey with us. It's interesting to see. I can see you're passionate about what you're doing and you are living your best life. I appreciate that you've shared that, it's not all about the money, and that you may start off in something when you leave high school, and that may change along the way, and that's okay. And you're going to continue to grow the things that you're interested in. Oop, I see there's one question here. What was your favorite job? When the students have asked, was your favorite job or is your favorite job?
It's always the one I'm doing right now, but there's things I really enjoyed about all my jobs that drew me to them, and then there's things I didn't like about them that maybe made me switch my career path a little bit. So I really like my job here at Standard Dodge, just because it's very flexible. If I do need to help dad out, I just give him a bit of a heads up there, and it's no problem for me to go out and take up my second gig, or however you want to call it. So, and I also feel like each one of my jobs is related to each other in some way or another to help me out with the next one. So there's always good things and bad things about every job. It's just which one you enjoy most that you should probably stick with. So
good. Another question from the students: how old are you? You've done lots of things, so you appear older than you really are, and you have lots of wisdom in navigating this whole thing. How old are you, Clark?
well, I'm 22, so still young compared to a lot of people, but yeah, I feel like I'm a little older, but yeah.
So you've done a lot of things in the 4+ years since high school.
Yeah, I graduated in 2019, and so coming up on 4 years now, I guess.
I have another question from the students. What do you like to do for fun?
For fun, my going out and helping dad at the ranch is really fun, or hunting. There again, like shooting gophers or coyotes. It's really enjoyable, and it's also beneficial towards the ranch there too, to help out that way as well.
I see that. Oh, just a sec. Oh, no more questions from the students, I think, at this time. I'm not sure if you had anything more you wanted to share about the journey that you've had. No more questions from students. So what are you going to do? What do you think might be your next thing to consider?
Like for a job?
For work? Yeah.
I kind of like where I'm at right now. Staying with Standard Dodge here, I plan to be here for a little bit. Eventually I'd like to buy my own ranch, which is obviously pretty expensive, but hopefully be able to figure that out soon. And then also with my own ranch there, just kind of kind of pondering around the idea of doing some day work and stuff like that to help out some other ranches and just kind of be my own boss there as well. So would like to just grow my own place while I stay here for now.
I had another question, then I have another question from students. My one question was around you, and you spoke about lots of the work that you did in Alberta. And I'm wondering, how did you find those different jobs? And they all related to the agriculture field, but how do you find work like that if you're somebody just coming out of high school and you're interested in some of that kind of work? How do you find it?
There's actually Kijiji has like a job stuff there. Didn't particularly, it's not very easy to find jobs on Kijiji though. Indeed, that's another job posting website. That one's all right as well. The big one that I found a lot of my work on was there's a Canadian cowboy ranch jobs Facebook page. And so when I initially started looking, would have been just out of my first year of university there. I put a posting on there, and well, I knew quite a few people from the surrounding area, so had like 100 people share that. So I don't know how many people saw it. It was probably a lot, and so kind of got to pick where I wanted to go that way. I've had a lot of offers that I haven't taken up. Like I've had a few offers to go to work ranches in BC or Manitoba or Northern Alberta, which really would have been really cool jobs to take up. The reason I didn't go with them is just because I kind of wanted to stay closer to home too, just to be able to help out my dad. I didn't feel right just leaving him. And like I have my own cows here now too, so kind of want to be able to be here for that as well. So
Good. Well, that leads me to one of the questions that some students had. They wanted to know how many cows that you have and if you're going to continue with purebred Charolais or.
I bought 3 purebred heifers there. That would have been that same time around my gap year that I got those. So this is the calves I'm having now is my third calf crop. Haven't had a whole lot of luck growing my herd just because I keep getting bulls. Been having a few heifers, but also had 1 dry. So back down to 3 cows that are going to calve. Well, did calve here about a month ago now, I would say. And so, yeah, then I got some horses and stuff. So breeding some more. So be selling a couple bulls here right away to my dad probably. I guess it's important to say that before I really got into Charolais, my dad was all Angus and Hereford cross cows. And now I'm kind of starting to influence him on the Charolais side of using them as terminal cross. And so we're having quite a few Charolais calves this year, which is really nice to see. And it's just, I feel like it'll benefit us a little more being able to grow a little bit bigger yearlings and whatnot there. So
Good. I have another question from the students, and it's around your work at Standard Dodge. They want to know when you work, because some of the students from your school where you graduated from might be interested in coming and popping by and saying hi.
I work Mondays to Saturdays usually. Get here usually 8:15, and I'm here till 5:30 unless it's a Saturday. We're only open till 5 on Saturdays, but if I have a sales appointment, I'm always open later. So feel free to stop by. You got pop and stuff in the fridge. So yeah.
Good. Okay, well, I don't see any more questions from any students or anything. At this time, I just want to thank you again, Clark, for giving us some good advice, sharing the challenges that you've had and how you've overcome those, all the learning opportunities that you've taken advantage of. And you're always working, you're always learning, you're always growing, and you're working towards something. We appreciate you sharing that.